Hi friends, I am back with another video, and this is going to be a fun video for me because there is a teacher tag going around YouTube in the teacher community world of YouTube and it's called I Teach Too. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity for you, the viewers, to know who I am. Question number one is, what do you teach and where do you teach? I teach science, and I teach in the state of Kentucky. I've also taught in the state of Maryland, I've taught in the state of Ohio, and for a little bit, I've taught in the state of Delaware. Question number two, how long have you been teaching? This is kind of complicated. I first had my first teaching assignment back in 2001, 2002. And then I taught for a year in Ohio. And at that time, I was a high school math teacher. So I taught a year in Ohio way back in 2001, 2002. Then I took a lot of time off. I pursued a different career. And then I came back to teaching full-time in Maryland back in 2007-ish. And I was a high school science teacher. I taught in Maryland for 5 years, and then I moved to Kentucky where I was a middle school science teacher for 4 years. And for the upcoming school year, the 2017-18 school year, I'm going back to high school as a science teacher. Question number three, did you always know you wanted to be a teacher? Nope, absolutely not. I knew that I loved science. From the very moment I think I was in middle school, I just loved science. And I knew I wanted to do something with science, and I wanted to make a career out of science. What that looked like, I wasn't particularly sure. I knew that when I graduated high school, my college major was going to be biology. I was so in love with biology that when I was in high school, true story, this is almost funny and depressing. True story, when I was in high school, I never had to attend summer school. I never failed a class and was told that you must go to summer school. But I hung around with a lot of people who had to attend summer school almost every year. So it was unfair for me, I felt, that I was at home with nothing to do because all my friends were at summer school. So for my sophomore, junior year of school, I signed up for summer school just so I can take an additional science class. I know, so nerdy of me. All my friends got up in the morning. They either took the bus, the city bus, or we walked to school, and they would go to their classes that they had to take in order to graduate, and I would go take a science class just because all my other friends were in summer school, so I had to take a summer class too. So no, I did not always know I wanted to be a teacher. I did not decide to become a teacher until I graduated from college, and then I graduated from graduate school in epidemiology. I was an epidemiologist, which is a scientist, for a little while. And then my family, they just said, you are a teacher, April. I was like, no, I'm not a teacher. Why don't you try it? So what happened is I was an epidemiologist in the day, and I started taking teaching classes at night just to see what it would be like. And then when it was time for me to student teach, I had to decide between keeping my day job as an epidemiologist or leaving it so I can student teach in the daytime. And the decision was, well, let me see what student teaching is going to be about, because I can always go back to epidemiology. I quit my job, I student taught, and the rest is history. What is my typical outfit of the day? Question number four. Well, if anyone knows me at all, I am not a fashion person. I like clothes. I like the way they look on other people and how other people put them together. It's just that I have not been blessed with that gift. My outfit of the day usually consists of slacks and a regular blouse. And it's not even really one of those fancy blouses. My district does not have a dress code, so if I decide to wear jeans 5 days of the week with a polo, I can. If I decide to wear sneakers 5 days of the week, I can. A lot of the times I did not dress up because I was doing labs, and labs can get messy, and if you mess with the wrong chemical and it gets on your clothes, then your clothes are messed up. So on a good day, I would wear slacks with a nice shirt. And on lab days, which happened probably at least 2 days a week, then I would be more casual. Question number 5, what do you bring for lunch? This is an interesting question because I'm always trying to figure out what to bring for lunch. I don't know why it's so hard for me. I only get 20 minutes for lunch. And at the time, for the last 4 years anyway, I was teaching 6th graders and 8th graders, and when it was time for lunch, it was my 6th grade class, so I had to walk them down to lunch and pick them up. So a 20-minute lunch really, realistically, was probably 15. But I would buy a lot of the frozen meals that you can get for $1 or $2 so I can zap them in the microwave. 9 times out of 10, I would eat in the class when the kids come back. So they know, I'm sorry, Miss Moore. I'm sorry to bother you while you're eating lunch during the last 10 minutes of our class. You had 20 minutes for lunch, how come you didn't eat? Well, by the time I walk you down to lunch, by the time I come back, and if it's a lab where I have to set things up, it was almost no time to eat, just enough time for me to zap up my food, and then when we come back to class, I would usually take about 5 minutes to stuff something down. But I've been watching teacher videos, and other teachers' answers to this question has got me thinking about my routine for next school year. A few of the teachers have said that they eat the same thing every single day. It's like no question. And I'm going to try that. Lunch is not a meal. It is not a big meal anyway. I just need nourishment to get me through the rest of the day. So I think I will try to play around with a couple of items that I can take with me easily and make easily or grab easily to lunch, and eat the same thing every day, so there's no question about what the heck am I going to pack for lunch today. So let's see how that works, and I'll get back to you. Question number 6 is, what is your favorite teaching book? It has been a long time since I've taken a class where I had to read this is what teaching is about book, these are teaching strategies, that kind of thing. It's been a really long time. I think a few years ago I read Ron Clark's, I think it's 55 Essentials for a Practical Classroom or something like that. I love Ron Clark, I love his ideas, but that book just did not resonate with me, and I really can't name one of his essential strategies, and he had 55. But I am passionate about 2 things in the classroom. One would be science and how science is implemented and how science can help students think analytically and all that good stuff. So I have this book, A Framework for K-12 Science Education. This is a real, I don't want to say a nerdy book, but if you are a science person, then you've probably seen this book. Your professor or PD people at school have probably introduced you to this book. This book gets lots and lots of highlights. I read it a lot during the school year to keep me grounded, to keep me focused on how I teach my kids best when it comes to science practices. So that would be one book. And the second book would be it's called A Field Guide for Achieving Equity in Schools, Courageous Conversations About Race. This was a book that I received for free when I taught in Maryland. The principal gave one of these books to every single staff member, and we had to get into sort of like PLC groups, although it wasn't PLC groups at the time, or at least it wasn't called a PLC group at the time. But we had to get together, and we only needed to take one chapter of the book. We decided as a group what chapter we wanted to read, and we just had conversations about equity and about race and about biasness and about our student population. So the 2 books that I would recommend for you science people would be this framework for science education. And then for everyone else would be Courageous Conversations. And this book is written by Glenn E. Singleton and Curtis Linton. Question number 7 is, what is your favorite teaching movie? Lots of great teaching movies. I mean, teacher movies either pull at your heartstrings, like Lean on Me, or they make you just die of laughter, like the movie The Bad Teacher. But my favorite movie of all time, the teacher movie of all time that I can watch over and over again, is a movie called To Serve with Love. It stars Sidney Poitier. Anyone knows me knows I love movies with accents. I don't know. I love English movies, and Sidney Poitier is just a fantastic actor, but the storyline just really, really pulled at my heartstrings. It is an old movie. I would not be surprised if it was made like in the 50s or the 60s. It's called To Serve with Love. They made it To Serve with Love 2 that was remade back in the it's not even a remake, it's just like a sequence. Is it? I don't know what it's called. When you have a second movie. It's not a remake, but they have a second movie. And that was made in the 1980s. And when I tell you, y'all, that is bad, that is terrible. Do not. If you see it in the library or if you see it on Netflix or somewhere, please, y'all, skip it. Do not waste 2 hours of your life watching that. If you want to watch a great education movie, To Serve with Love, the original, Sidney Poitier back in the 50s or 60s, that is the movie to watch. Who is your favorite teacher? Let me tell you, there is a teacher I had in high school. I don't even remember his name because I am terrible with names. I love you. I can have a conversation with you 365 days a year, but then I moved to a different state 6 months later. I don't even remember your name. So don't expect me to remember people's names from high school, but I remember how he made me felt. He was my chemistry teacher, and I just remember him being funny and relatable. I think that was the first time I had a teacher that I thought was cool. And he was cool, but he didn't let me get away with anything. You know, you have the teacher that's the cool teacher and that's the buddy teacher. That's not the kind of teacher you want if they're going to allow you to get away with things, if they're going to allow you to slide under the radar. That's not the kind of teacher you want. However, this was a teacher who used comedy, who used words like verbiage, slang, I guess, and that's because he wanted to connect with us. We're urban students, urban school district, and this was an older white man, but he is considered my favorite teacher because he related to us. Question number 9, who are your favorite YouTubers, Instagrammers, and all other social media teachers? I have a list of people that I follow, but while my mind is spinning with these names, let me get them out. The first person that I've watched when I started looking at YouTube videos seriously for educational advice and all that is The Lettered Classroom. She was at the time a kindergarten teacher and I was a middle school teacher. We had absolutely nothing in common curricular-wise, but I loved her personality, I loved her enthusiasm, I loved the way she did data binders, I loved the way she did her plan book, I love the way she decorated her classroom. So I still follow her to this day. And as a matter of fact, I just watched the video the other day where she said she bought her first house. So please follow her if you're not doing so already. She has a large following, so she's pretty popular, The Lettered Classroom. Also, I love TooCoolforMiddleSchool. We have that middle school connection, or we have the middle school connection. I also like Miss May Hugs. She has a wonderful personality and we both love Old Navy, so we have that connection in common. Who else did I just find? The Pocket Full of Primary, love her enthusiasm. I mean, she talks a mile a minute and just her tone and her enthusiasm, absolutely love her. and Bond with James. I just found out about him probably 2 weeks ago. He is a high school chemistry teacher, and I am so looking forward to going through all of his videos and trying to figure out best practices, teaching tips, since I am going back into the high school science classroom for the first time in 4 years. So Bond with James. And number 10, what is your best classroom management tip? I have one tip that I give to all of my teachers that I mentor when it comes to keeping your classroom together. You have to engage your kids from the moment they walk into the classroom to the moment that they leave. It's called bell-to-bell instruction. You have to keep them engaged. Engaged is different than busy. To me, busy means busy work, and kids know busy work from engagement. So if there's one thing that you take from me as a teacher, you have to know your kids must be engaged from the moment they come in until the moment that leaves. That takes great lesson planning. More experienced teachers, you have a lot of tricks in your bag, a lot of tricks up your sleeve. But for any new teacher, plan accordingly. I would rather over plan than under. Okay guys, I think I went through all 10 of the questions for the hashtag I teach too. If you have any questions about anything I said, if there's anything else you want to know about me, please do not forget to comment down below. Thank you for your support. This is Miss Momo, and don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe.